My mask is attached to something here. Good morning, good morning. All right, so I might need help. How am I doing there, Ari?
Let's go that way. There we go.
All right, very good. Thank you, thank you. All right, little technical adjustment there. As I said in Charlottesville last week, we all know what technical adjustments are like by now with our wonderful, our wonderful spirit that rises to the challenge, as we have been faced with so many challenges in the past year and a half. And I welcome each of you with all my heart, and I feel welcomed by you. This is actually my first time on this lovely, lovely platform. And it is great to have this wonderful scenery behind me, but it is not nearly as beautiful as the scenery in front of me. And in my heart, with my heart, I see every one of you who are online as well. So I welcome you. My name is Laura Bennett, and I am the minister of Light of the Mind Academy. I'm the guest minister today. You'll hear more about that in a little while. But we are going to open with an energetic song because I've been watching your services, and I noticed how wonderfully you open, how Daniel opens you and Ari with this energetic music. So I thought, since we're going to take a little trek with a little bit of Unity history today, I'd pull up one of the old songs with which I grew up, and I'm going to ask my husband, Larry, to come on up here. He is helping me to lead sing today. This is Larry. And he makes what I do possible in the world, plus he does his own wonderful things as well. So, and everything we do, am I on in my mic? Everything we do is a miracle. You're not on. I am not on. Let me check my switch here. There. Is it on now? No. Okay. Now, is it on? No. Okay. All right.
Well,
it's all right. You have a mic and you're singing.
We can both use the mic.
All
what
right.
do you think? What do you think if I sit down here with you?
I think, there we go. I think you can stand.
Right here?
Yeah, I don't want to elbow you off the bench
well,
there.
Let's make sure you get the mic.
All right.
Are they hearing you?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
We'll just start with miracles are happening. Now the thing about this, and I'm going to speak up so everyone online can hear me until I get back to a microphone. The thing with miracles are happening is the second time through, we're going to sing it twice through, and you'll catch on. It's a very familiar tune by Edvard Grieg. The second time, I want you to hold that middle O. And so it, oh, so let's practice that. Oh, all right, you can do it at home too if you feel like it. Oh, all right, now that's for the second time through. First time will be practice, okay? So here we go.
Eye hath not seen, and ear hath not heard the good that God has for me. My mind is now open, my heart is receptive, and miracles are happening for me. Oh, miracles are happening, yes, miracles are happening, yes, miracles are happening to me. My eye is now open, my heart is receptive, and miracles are happening to me.
Okay, so you have that? Got it? All right, now remember, hold that O. Here we go. One, we're going to sing it again.
Eye hath not seen, and ear hath not heard the good that God has for me. My mind is now open, my heart is receptive, and miracles are happening to me. Oh, miracles are happening, yes, miracles are happening, yes, miracles are happening to me. My mind is now open, my heart is receptive, and miracles are happening to me. Right now.
Thank you. There we go. Thank you, Ari, for the improv there. You never know what technical delights Spirit has in store on a day-to-day basis, do you? In fact, you never know, really. You can plan, you can do all kinds of things, and you never quite know what's going to come up in a given day, do you? Yeah. I had the wonderful joy of being the minister at Unity of Bon Air for about 2.5 years. And prior to me, the woman who had helped build that beautiful place, wonderful Joyce Fisher Pierce, used to say, I wonder what blessing God has in this. And that's what we can look to each day. Because there are miracles everywhere, in everything. And let's take a deep breath. And just bring into our hearts our friends, our family, all of the people who have had any kind of struggle these past years, all of the people who are in the eye of the storm, so to speak, today. All of the people who are working to find their way to their home or to their new home out of Afghanistan. All of the people whose homes have been burnt by the fires and who are looking to renew their lives. Just so many things happening and going on. And let us see miracles arising from the ashes, from the wake of the storm, like a great phoenix, like a great light. Let us know that in this moment right now, miracles are happening. The flowers are still blooming, the birds are still singing, the sun is still shining. And miracles are happening to me right now. So whatever miracle you seek this day, it is happening to you, through you, and for you. And we welcome this day as a miraculous day. And together, we say, thank you, God, together. Thank you, God, by whatever name you give that universal spirit. And so it is. Amen.
It is time for our affirmation. Unity in the 7 Hills is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us, and we accomplish mighty works together. Our mission statement. Unity in the 7 Hills is a vibrant, inclusive community that inspires individual spiritual growth through education, prayer, heart connection, and sacred service. Our vision statement, centered in spirit, we see a world transformed by divine love. where innovative solutions are celebrated and all needs are met. Okay, now our second song, the Christ Namaste.
And we've got a syncing microphone here, so this song begins with flute, and the flute will play the melody of the song. Now, I want you to know that you all, before we even ever saw each other, inspired this particular song. Because of your Namaste Cafe, and that you greet each other so often with Namaste. I grew up with another greeting, and it was, I behold the Christ in you. So when I was invited to come here, I started contemplating, how do those two go together? And this is what came out. You will see the words. The chorus is a chant of Namaste. And if all you do is chant the Namaste, that will be plenty, that will be enough. Anyway, this is the blend, and this I will be playing the melody through once, and then going to the piano, and we will sing it together.
I behold the Christ in you. Here the life of God I see. I can see a great peace too. I can see you whole and free. Namaste, 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 namaste. Namaste, 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 namaste. I behold the Christ in you. I can see this as you walk. I can see a great peace too. I can see this as you talk. Namaste, 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 namaste. I behold God's love expressed. I can see you filled with power. I can see you ever blessed. See Christ in you hour by hour. Namaste, 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 namaste. Namaste, namaste. I behold the Christ in you. I can see that perfect one. led by God in all you do. I can see God's work is done. Namaste, 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 namaste.
Good morning, everyone. There we go. Okay. All right, our unity principle for the week. Principle number 5. It is not enough to understand spiritual teachings. We must live the truth we know. Can we all say that together? It is not enough to understand spiritual teachings. We must live the truth we know. And there's no Daniel for me to torture this week, so I'll do the announcements. If you love coffee, you are in fantastic company. Johann Sebastian Bach composed the piece, excuse my German, Schweizstille Plaudernicht, or the Coffee Cantata, in which a woman tells suitors that she must be allowed to drink coffee if they are to wed. That's a role model. Speaking of coffee, we got some downstairs after service. Come have some with us. Please fill out your prayer forms for the World Day of Prayer. We have an envelope in the back just for these special requests. Zoom discussion tonight is canceled. Instead, come share with us in a workshop. Today, our guest speaker, Laura Bennett, will also be hosting a workshop on the language of healing, part of our course in applied, is it metagetics? Am I saying that right? Okay. The class is $20, which can be paid in person or through PayPal, but be sure if you're paying on PayPal to make a note that it is for the workshop so we know that it's not a general tithing. Thank you to everyone who helped out and participated this week. Your sacred service and dedication is staggering and inspirational and phenomenally appreciated. A few open roles to fill. We need a bookstore manager, a Namaste Cafe team to set up coffee and clean up afterwards. We need volunteers for our monthly potluck, Festival of Light lead coordinator, and Day in the Park lead coordinator. And your energy adds to the magic of our events. All right. So how about we all get on our feet and feel a little youthful, and if you can't stand up, rise in spirit with us as we bless our youth. You are a perfect child of God, and God and I love you, just the way you are and wherever you are. And join me in singing This Little Light of Mine. Eventually. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, yes, I love that. Let's hear that again. Good morning. Today's word is awareness. The world. The world feels new as I grow in awareness. Spending time in mindful contemplation. Excuse me, I'm supposed to be here. Mindful contemplation increases my awareness of my surroundings. As I concentrate and focus my attention, I shut out distractions and settle my unquiet mind. My world begins to feel brighter, vibrant, and more alive as I notice the soft sounds and minute textures and colors overlooked before. Spending time in prayer increases my awareness of God's goodness, which I share with others when I am patient and kind, generous and forgiving. This goodness returns to me as kindness and gentleness in the people I meet and ease and grace in all the places I go. The world has not changed, but I have. My awareness of God in and as my life has opened my eyes and ears, my mind and my heart. Open my eyes so that I may behold wondrous things out of your law. Psalms 119:18. And the special reading today comes from Greek. Yeah, except for Rumi. Okay, Rumi says, the wound in the place where the light enters you. The womb is in the place where the light enters you. Hippocrates, the natural healing force within each one of us is the greatest force for getting well. And Heraclitus, silence, healing. And so much for my Greek, and I'm out of here. Here we go. Let's try something else.
We're going to do just fine. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Good. Very good.
At times I look at the world with fear, and I cry for the human race. Then a child laughs, and I know God is here, for the world is a sacred space. And I know in through all challenge and change. Underneath is abiding grace. As I look for God's love in the people and things who are here in my sacred space. Now I offer my gifts so that others can tell that we live in a sacred space. And I know in my heart, through all challenge and change, underneath is abiding grace. As I look for God's love in the people and things who are here in my sacred space. Yes, I look for God's love in the people and things who are here in my sacred space. When I give to God all I am and I own, where I am is a sacred space.
Sacred space, yes. Oh, do we have an introduction?
Who are you?
I think we've gotten a good idea of Laura Bennett today, but with a youthful nature, love for people, and contagious enthusiasm for making a difference in our world, Laura Barrett Bennett is the founder and executive director of Light of the Mind Academy. Laura is a third-generation Unity minister in her 39th year of ministry. She served as senior minister in 3 Unity churches and worked as chairperson. Yeah, she started young. 10, or you 10? No, chairperson of biblical studies on the faculty for the ministerial and adult education programs of Unity Worldwide at the Village, right? Yes, Unity Village. She authored the book, The Language of God, Metagenics, and the Bible, and writes poetry and music, as you've seen today. She has lived in the Middle East and traveled throughout the world giving workshops on biblical interpretation, world religion, church leadership, spiritual teamwork, and personal fulfillment. She currently lives in Virginia with her husband, Larry, who you've also met, singing today, and her cat, Sophia, where she enjoys walking in nature, playing the piano, gardening, the occasional company of her grandchildren, and Zooming with friends and family. And I just want to encourage you, if you haven't decided to come to the workshop, to come. And we'll be using the same Zoom link that we usually do, and you'll be on the honor society or honor system to pay by PayPal on Zoom. So.
Thank you. This is certainly a sacred space. I could feel it when I walked in. How many of you felt it when you first walked in here? Yes. Not just the, how can I say it, the simple beauty that surrounds us here, but the beauty we see in each other that creates a sacred space. And that is what we are seeking to do. We are seeking to create a sacred space wherever we go and wherever we are. And we're not creating something that isn't already there. What we're doing is we are bringing into manifest expression the truth of every one and every place. That's what it means to create. It doesn't mean to pull something out of the blue of nothing and make it so. It means to bring into manifestation a unique and previously unknown expression of what is already present. And people have done this throughout the ages. The first verse, there's a simple truth that the wise ones have known throughout all time and place. When I give to God, when I give to Spirit, when I give to something that I know is greater than I currently know myself to be, that place becomes sacred. And there are places around the world, physical places, that were given in such ways that people visit or call or to which they make pilgrimages. And then there are personal sacred spaces that we enjoy every day. And today I'm going to take you to 5 of those places. And the qualities that they represent are the very qualities that heal the soul, that call forth the wholeness that we already are. And the first place is a place that I visit, and you might have a similar place. It's a place in nature. I visited about 4 or 5 times a week at sunrise when I'm out for my walk. And it's a lake not too far away. How many of you have a place in nature where you can go? Yeah, bring that place to mind as I'm sharing this one, because really, it's a healing place, isn't it? I go down to the lake near our house on a 2-mile walk I do in the mornings, and while I'm there, just as the sun starts to come up, I time it because I know the sun gets later and then sooner and then later. I time it around sunrise. And just as the sun starts to come up, I pause on my walk just for a few seconds. I dedicate and consecrate this day to the Spirit that is in all, to call it forth, to bring it into expression, and to be an instrument through which others discover the divine vessels of Holy Spirit that they are. So it is. In Unity, at Unity Village, we used to open each week saying, with all the employees, when I was teaching on the faculty there, with all of the employees in there, standing up and saying, I dedicate and consecrate myself to the will and the work of Jesus Christ. Every Monday morning at 7:30 a.m., our work week began. And whatever your form of dedication or consecration is, when you do that, that place becomes a sacred space. Sacred from the, now you worked on the Greek, I'm going to work on the Latin here a little bit. Sacred from sacrare, meaning whole, complete, that place or thing through which the presence of the divine can be experienced. And so my first sacred place that I share with you is a place in nature, because the quality of healing in nature is beauty. One morning I was standing there and I made my little dedication, and then I opened my eyes. And right before me, standing on the path in front of me, was a great egret, tall and white. And so when I see nature, when I see the deer or the hawks flying down or the geese or the ducks or even the beaver in the pond, I do my best to do a wide circle and respect their space, their sacred space as well. So as I was making a wide circle around this egret, he was looking at what I figured was this strange creature who had two skinny legs like him, but no wings. But it's amazing how you start to interact with nature. You know, when I first went down to that lake, every little critter of nature would scatter to the winds. I almost stopped doing it because I didn't want to disturb their morning time. But the more I did it, the more they got used to my presence. And the more they just sort of stick around and just watch as I walk through. Beauty. Beauty. Dedication and beauty create a healing space. The second place I want to share with you is right up there. And it has been called for, well, just about since its inception, the light that shines for you. When they created the Silent Unity Prayer Room back in the 1920s, this was after the society itself got up and going with its prayer work. And when they created it and built that first building on Unity grounds, which was Silent Unity, which is now used for other purposes, when I was there, it was the education building, so I taught in that building, in the old Silent Unity building. This is the newer one, built in 1989. And you can still see the light of the sun catching on the tower that lights up at night, because they have a light 24 hours a day. And it represents the light of spirit that shines for you. And I knew Silent Unity before I was even born. In 1938, there was a little girl who became very ill. And she had an infection in her brain, and it was very, very serious. And the surgeons were saying they needed to operate right away. And back then, brain surgery was not the best way you wanted to go. Her young mother, who was a secretary working in the Washington, D.C. area, was very concerned about her. And very worried, and her neighbors knew this. So one of her neighbors said, you know, I go to this church in Washington, D.C., and I have been made aware that they have a service that you can call 24 hours a day. Why don't you give them a call? And so my grandmother picked up the phone, called Silent Unity, asked for prayer. They prayed with her. And that night, the infection drained from my mother. Next day, she had to clean the pillow because it came out. And within 2 days, my mother was up and romping around. And after that, my grandmother said, I need to check this Unity thing out. So she started attending Unity in Washington, D.C., and eventually started a small group in Fairfax that became Unity of Fairfax. And my grandmother was the founding minister. And so Silent Unity was in my life before I had a life, here on earth anyway. And it is a place of prayer. So, beauty is a healing power. Prayer is a healing power. It is a place of prayer because at Unity, when I was trained for Silent Unity in later years, I was trained that you do not pray for people here. Oh, you pray with them. Now it's okay if they think you're praying for them, but you know you are praying with them. You are calling forth their spirit energy in what you do. It is not something you are giving to them. It is something you are calling forth from them. And so Silent Unity continues with affirmative prayer power, with meditative prayer power, as someone is always in the prayer room holding silence. And I am sure will continue for many years to come. So that's our second sacred space. We'll get to that one momentarily, but go ahead and enjoy the scenery. Our third one is in a Bible story, one that you're probably familiar with, where there was a paralytic lying by the pool. Many of us call it the pool of Bethesda. I've learned to call it Bethsaida because that's its Aramaic pronunciation. And these are a series of pools that come out that are from a spring. And this man was waiting. They were known for their healing powers, and so this paralytic was there for more than 30 years, waiting for someone to let him go into the pool. But everybody would crowd in front, and they would go in. And so one day, here comes Jesus. And he looks at the man and, looks at his, and notices his condition. He notices his condition. And he doesn't say, well, here, let me help you into the pool. Or stop whining, get over it. He says, will you be made whole? Do you want to be made whole? Do you want to? Do you want to do this? And the man started explaining how, well, yeah, I've been hanging out here for 38 years and people keep getting in front of me in the pool. And Jesus responded with this. Then take up your bed and walk. Rise, take up your bed and walk. And immediately he felt a surge of energy without even dipping his toe. And he picked up his bed, rolled it up, and walked. The key here was willingness. Was willingness to do, not just, can you imagine? I don't know about you, but it's hard enough for me to get out of bed in the morning after one night, let alone after 30-some years. Can you imagine getting up, having the will to get up, to do what it takes to be healed? Now, many of us have tried and done, and we still might have a condition that does not heal. But we need to remember what healing is. Healing, the physical effects are the fringe benefit if that is our path. Healing is remembering the wholeness that you already are. Remember that word, sacred. It means to be whole. Healing is another word that comes from that Old English root of hallow. Wholeness. May wholeness be yours. When people say hello, that's what they're saying. Our Father in heaven, or our Father, Mother, our Spirit in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Wholeness is your nature. And healing is recognizing our already innate oneness with all that is. And our wholeness as the divine human beings that we are, just the way we are. And in that, when we know that we have that, then we will want to do whatever it takes to realize it. So the pools near Jerusalem are the second sacred place. And what is recognized there is the willingness to do what it takes. Now, I chose these images because to me there's a bit of a similarity in the look between that silent unity, because they did design Unity Village in Mediterranean style. And here we are in Italy. Yeah. And my mother was 79 years old when she passed, after living a full life as an artist and an art teacher. In fact, when my mother was the art teacher at Fairfax High School, the Fairfax High School Art Club used to come to the Apple Festival nearby here that takes place in the fall, because there was some artwork in it, and there were little bits of art shows in it, and sometimes some of our students would enter. My mother inspired several artists as professionals, and our house is filled with her work and their work. And she passed away at 79 years old after, again, having a degenerative brain disorder in the form of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's for more than 25 years. And when she passed away, I was troubled. I was thinking, where's that healing power? And I was grieving, and I was saddened, and because Larry was working overseas at the time, and we had an opportunity. It was perfect commercial. We had an opportunity to meet in Rome. I went early to do a silent retreat in Assisi, and I met Larry in Rome at the Roma Termini, the train station, in front of McDonald's. It would have been a great McDonald's commercial. I hadn't seen him for 6 months. We hugged each other. I mean, and McDonald's is right there in the background. An old familiar place. But Assisi. So I was doing my silent retreat in Assisi, and I went, if you see down to the left there, that's the lower basilica. This is the Basilica of St. Francis. Now, Francis said, don't build any basilicas about me. He did say that, but you know how people listen. So they have the basilica, the big, beautiful basilica with panoramic paintings of Francis's life in the upper basilica, and in the lower basilica is his tomb. And so it's a place where people went to meditate and to heal. They've had a lot of healing miracles take place in the tomb of St. Francis. And so I went into this tomb. Francis insisted on being buried in the lower part of the city of Assisi at the time, where the beggars lived and the prostitutes did their business, and it was just the basic place that the upper crust avoided, so to speak. And he said, that's where I want to be buried. So where he was buried, along with some of his brothers, they built a basilica. And now look at it. In fact, the whole city of Assisi is absolutely pristine because it is a place of pilgrimage. And so I was there in the tomb a few months after my mother's death, and just, doing a meditation thing, sitting there on the bench, and this tremendous wave of pure, undeniable compassion moved through me. And I realized that through all those years, through every moment of what my mother went through, that was always there. That love, that divine spirit. In fact, she often spoke of seeing angels or even people she'd loved who were no longer on the earth plane. And I'd heard Jim Freeman say of one of his second wife, when she passed of Alzheimer's, he said, she's not really ill. She's just moving into the next dimension. And so I would sit with my mother on a day-to-day basis and wonder why she had to go through this. And what I realized in that moment, that she was never without love. Even when one of the family wasn't there, she had that love. Because it was in her, because it was her very nature. And in the moment that I was experiencing, there was nothing but love, nothing but compassion. And I wept, and I wept, and I wept in a way I hadn't allowed myself to do. And I was healed. Compassion, another quality of healing. Compassion creates such places. You see it's upside down from us, but it's P-A-X. It's the Latin word for peace in the lawn there. Those bushes in the middle of the lawn are spelling the word peace. Which brings us to the final place. When Larry and I were visiting Jerusalem, when we lived overseas, and we happened to visit, the day after we got there, a war started with Gaza and Israel. And so, we heard the rockets going overhead, saw the trails. And when we were in Jerusalem, there was an air raid. The sirens went off. Now, I don't mean to make light of this because I was terrified. I'd never been in a war zone. And I could, that animal feeling of sheer, wow, what is this, and helplessness for a moment. Larry and I stood against the old wall of Jerusalem while the sirens were going and people were deserting the streets. And I held to this pouch that I had carried with me, this pouch where I had visited 3 congregations and I'd collected their prayers for the Middle East. And I held to this pouch with the prayers in it that they had written, and I started feeling what Jerusalem is about. Peace, peace, peace. A few days later, the war ended. It was only 10 days. And peace prevailed. And so, whatever is happening in whatever place in the world, underneath is abiding grace. And it is up to us to look for God's love and to know that peace that prevails. And so the 5th quality of healing is peace. And the healing place that is the namesake of the talk today is not any of these places. You don't have to even go to Silent Unity to feel sacred, do you? You don't have to go anywhere. Because every one of these places was built out of someone experiencing a quality that we all have already. Beauty. Prayer power. What was my third? The willingness to do what it takes. Compassion and peace. These are the things that heal. We'll be doing a little bit of that work with our workshop this afternoon. And I'm noticing the time, so I will complete my talk with a poem that came to me in another sunrise meditation. After returning to our then home in Bahrain from Israel and that experience. It's called Morning Wind. And we can think of people around the world right now as we hear this. The morning wind sings a song of souls who, seeking to be strong, are faced with death when violence gains the upper hand through those in pain. So where is peace to be found when countless lives turn upside down and in blind hate we cannot see that love resides in you and me? In willing hearts and generous hands who strive to serve and understand how wounded souls can heal within, the way of peace can begin. Then who and what am I called to be in making peace reality? I'm called to know that what I feel is for others just as real. All the anger, regret, and blame, all the guilt and all the shame are but shadows that can't reside where forgiveness and love abide. So when the shadows in me arise, I pause and breathe and realize they are but shadows brought on by fear of losing things I hold so dear. Then I remember thinking of the truth that I am one through love with people and things that I have known, and thus I cannot lose my own. So I forgive this fearful one. In self-acceptance, peace has begun. And I, with open heart and ears, am listening to heal the fears, to love and accept for who they are all others, whether near or far, and share the beauty that I see in them, for it's the same in me. Whatever culture, creed, or place, we all can lovingly embrace the shadows that we have within. And with the old song, let it begin with me. This peace on earth I find in morning wind and quiet mind. And we're going to do a short form of meditation looking at the time. As Larry comes up to sing with me. The Namaste reprise, there it is. Okay. And I'm not even going to go to the piano at this time. I'm going to play the flute, and then we'll sing, and I invite you to chant with us on the Namaste. Okay. And I'm just going to play the flute through once, and then we'll sing.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
And together, I behold the Christ in you. Here the life of God I see. I can see a great peace too. I can see you whole and free. Namaste, 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 namaste. I behold the Christ in you. I can see that perfect one, led by God in all you do. I can see God's work is done. Namaste, 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 namaste. And in silence, we feel the beauty, the power, the willingness, the compassion, and the peace that is the Christ within. And we bow, we honor, we greet this power and peace. Namaste. Namaste. You are the healing, the whole one. You are the light you seek. Namaste. And take a deep breath. And this is our blessing for you before we sing together the words to this song. The light of God surrounds you. I am the light of God.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds you.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects you.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over you.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever you are, God is. And all
is
is
well.
well. And now we'll sing it.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.
All right. All right. Thank you for being here today. Platform person. And thank you for listening to my talk when I took this off at the beginning. So thank you. I said there was a famous New Thought minister who took this off and put it on the lectern and said, "Do you know what it means when the minister takes her watch off and puts it on the lectern?" Absolutely nothing. But thank you for hanging in there while we worked things through today.
And thank you, Reverend Laura. Part of our prosperity today. Let's say this together, the prosperity affirmation. Divine love flowing through me mixes and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. If you have received spiritual nourishment from today's service, and I can't imagine that you haven't, please share your blessing with Unity in the Seven Hills through your tithes and offerings. There are 4 ways to give. If you are on your computer, you can click on the PayPal link. Use Zelle, or you can place a check in the mail. If you're here in person, there's a basket in the back, and you can place your gifts there. Through the Christ consciousness within us, we dedicate the gifts we give to bless our community. And now the peace song.
Right, like I have to tell you, let's go ahead and get up and get in a circle if you feel like doing it, or you can stay in place, whatever feels more comfortable to you in this time. Get the song going here. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. All right, so we're about to sing something wonderful and end our service. First, I would like to say goodbye if you're not going to be in the workshop. Goodbye coming from God be with you. So remember that this week. God is inside you. The workshop is when we finish drinking coffee. Bonnie, do we have a time? 12? 12 sounds good. We'll be having a workshop at 12. All right, let's sing something wonderful.
Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now.
I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart. And it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. We can let it shine out. Yes, we can. Something wonderful.
Before you get off, we have to rethought the time on the workshop. It's going to be 11:45, not 12. Thanks. 11:45.
And I'll keep it